Hello Shirley, how are you? Good. Hello, welcome back to Skyrocket Automotive. G60 in a Mark II Scirocco. How cool is that? I've known this car for a good number of years. It's always been very reliable, very stout and very, very quick. Unfortunately, Shirley here had what I can only describe as a supercharger event recently. When those G60 superchargers fail, they go pop. The owner shut her down right quick, fast in a hurry, and we were all crossing everything that we'd got away with it. No, of course not. I took the intake pipe work off. We got glitter. We got sprinkles on the throttle blades. We got sprinkles behind the throttle blades. I can see sprinkles working their way down into the plenum and into the intakes. These superchargers are not cheap because they're hen's teeth now. Because funnily enough, they explode when they fail. They're brilliant until that happens. For the price of a blower and having it recommissioned, we would be insane to not take the head off and make sure the engine's right as rain. Good news is, these engines, from the neck down as it were, are basically an 80s 8-valve GTI engine. They've got lower compression pistons, different management, odds and ends. But the bulk of the engine, I've made my career working on. So I ain't overly worried. I thought you guys might be interested. Maybe we fix a car on Skyrocket. We can get this working and not take parts off of an old knackered. Yeah, well, I thought it was a good idea. Join us. Are you sure there's no possibility that we might be able to just run? No? All right, yep. So, this is probably the most I'm just at work video I will have made up to this date. Because we got to be pressing on. We got V8 Mercs coming in. We've got certain 16-valve Golfs going out that have been here way longer than they were supposed to be. Not my fault. There was so very much more to the story with that Golf. But yeah, anyway, we got a whole ass, man. It's verdant season here at Skyrocket right now. This is the period where I make most of the money that doesn't sustain me through the rest of the year. What am I on about? I'm permanently skint. Nice. Best way to improve the handling on an A1 car, by the way. One of these and one down low. The front end's like to wobble on us. Part of me's looking forward to this, part of me isn't. TBH, because there's a lot of extra rubber random hoses and what have you with the such like. Do you know what it really is? I am a big fat man and this car's very low. And I have a bad back from years and years of not looking after myself. So this is painful already. I've only took the strut brace off and I'm feeling it. I'm already feeling it, which is good. No, wait, the other thing. Okay, there we go. Should be able to get the head out without disturbing any of that, which is awesome sauce. Ethan? Cheers, mate. Be very careful of that valve because they are unobtainium. Can I disconnect that from the other end? No, of course I can't because it goes to the MFA. Okay, we got lucky. Yeah, I don't think this is anything anybody's done. I think it is just age. The car's sat for a while, but it is also quite an old build. These things do happen. When you want to go fast, how fast do you want to spend, as they say? You out of here now before you break. Okay, fine. I get it, it's non-negotiable. All right, you win the argument. Oh, I'd like to take this all off as one big thing, but Volkswagen insist on putting 15 Jubilee clips. Stop whinging, Kyle, because it could have been the spring clips that you hate. That's fair. Thank you. Ouch! The last guy that put cable ties in this, I must have owed him some money. Yeah, we're all right. How's everybody doing? So my computer exploded yesterday. So this video is going to be delayed somewhat. Come on. The ISV bracket's just rotting away. Let's go. Right. Idle stabilisation valve. He's out of there. Oh, goody, goody, goody. Goody. My favourite. Lovely. Oh, is that home time yet? Great. Fuel line doesn't want to come off. Superb. Whew. It's definitely a fuel line. Right, I did a belt on this not long ago. When did I do that? I definitely put the sticker there. Oh no, I didn't. It's on the cover. Idiot. Belt's 2 years old. Car's covered about 450 miles since I did the belt. Can I get a? Can I get? I'm after an XL bacon double cheeseburger. Come off. Off you come. Ouch! Okay, I am crossing everything, which means it's not going to happen, that I can reach enough to sneak in and whistle this all apart in one go. There's a series of those Allen bolts bang in the centre of the screen along the back. Just one row. I've got everything crossed. I'm going to be able to get away with taking them off and hopefully removing that whole shooting match in one go. That's going to massively reduce our labour time and how wound up I get. That's way too big, Kyle, you idiot! You just did that in front of the whole internet. Do you realise that? 4 people are going to see that mistake that you just made then. I can't believe you let yourself be exposed like that. Those 4 people are going to be absolutely pissing themselves now. Please don't tell the other 3 that won't watch this video. They do like to slide a vacuum hose down the back of a switch, around the wire plug. I know what I'm trying to say, alright? Sorry. That's all our boost management stuffs. So excess boost gets sent back to charger via this pipe. Oh no. We've got a chewing gum breather hose. Superb. Raised periscope. Do you see them, Captain? Kyle, we're not playing submarines, we're taking a car apart. Right. Truth be told, I don't know when this build was actually completed. We can find out. I'll put it on the screen. Well, editor Kyle will put it on the screen if we're lucky and if he's finished the sandwich he's eating right now. I see you. Do some work. Come on, little guy. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come here. Please. Man, the energy shift in that, hey? So our fuel rail's undone. Theoretically, now, I might be able to sneak along underneath, stealth-like, and undo the Allen bolts at the back, and then undo these 2, and lift the intake plenum out. That's definitely going to happen, isn't it? What just happened? Bastard. Let that be the last one of those. I'm glad we understand each other. The first 4 intake bolts were absolutely right as rain. I had a bad feeling about number 5, so I moved to number 6. That was right as rain too. And then back to number 5. You bastard. That's put me in a real strop. A genuine strop. Why did Volkswagen decide to use Allen head fucking bolts for these manifolds, man? I will never understand it. That's done, isn't it? I'm not going to make that any worse, because that's already going to be a disaster to try and do off the car. Like I say, the good news is you can take the head off separately, but it just makes the exhaust a pain. I'm sorry about that. Those exhaust studs look fucking horrible. Could really do without this. One bolt. That's all it takes. One bolt, and our day's bollocksed. Feels good to be back on the saddle though. And I'm filming with a new camera. It's very good. Trying to stay chipper, can you tell? I ain't giving up. We're sorting this. This is, no. I refuse to allow myself to be scuppered by a single bolt. Basically, I don't want to lose the time taking the head off with the intake attached, so I'm going to lose the time now. Can I get a little tappy tap tap? Oh, braided. I'm not trying to be irritating today, by the way, it just comes naturally, so. Can I? Come on. Can I get the socket on there with no extension, which will stop any twisting motions? Oh, it's tense. It's very tense. No. Jesus Christ, that was the most pathetic attempt. Stop it. Hammering a Torx bit in there is not going to make any difference. Trust me. If I can get it out, I can replace it. That's all I care about right now. Nah. Exhaust manifold's in the way. I dropped the socket, so I'll get a magnet to pick up the socket and fix the car. I'm going to collect a Krypton machine again. In a bit. Two of them. If you're interested in what a Krypton machine is, why I need two of them, and what I plan to do with the Krypton machine, you could check out my Patreon. There's a Patreon series I've started on it, and members only as well, exclusive type bit. Let's go. I don't even think I can bring myself to celebrate because it ain't all the way out yet. That's how unconvinced I am. This car pushed me to the ragged edge. Sick of this camera angle, are you? I can assure you, I'm sick of a lot more stuff relating to this camera angle than you are. That is up there with farting away a stomachache. What a feeling. Yes! Right, what was the solution in the end? 12mm socket, warmed up, hammered on as best I could. Roger Dodger. I mean, that might have to go on the fireplace as a souvenir. It's a waste of a damn good socket though. Good effort. I have never been so grateful to hear a bolt go. Let's get this thing out. As you can see, I really sent it. It's not bad for someone who's having to do this to hammer it on, but we got there. All right. Whoa! Look at the state of that. The worst part is there's not even any corrosion on the bolt. Now, I'm genuinely torn about what to do with this. Keep it as one hell of a souvenir and put it on the fireplace of bragging. Part of me wants to bury this. I want to dig a hole and bury this bolt. I'm that angry with it. I am so pissed off that that took as long as it did. I actually don't know what to do now. All I've been able to think about for the last 2 days is this intake manifold bolt. Suppose we better film the rest of the video, eh? I've been working, but this has been looming in the background the whole time. Building up a fair old collection here now. I might have to see if I could do a shootout as to if I can remember every car that all of this stuff came from. You can go in there. Does he need to be unbolted from there? So this is the deal with VW, man. Like, I love them to death. Shirley, I can't take much more of it. As I was saying, I love VW to death, but they have a tendency to over-add. Like, rather than just redesign the manifold, they're like, we'll use a K-jet manifold. Okay, are you going to take advantage of that gap to use the push-in injectors? Just make life a bit easier? No, we're going to put a fuel rail in. Oh, nice. So when you unbolt the manifold, you can take the fuel rail out at the same time. Just pop them both. No. No. There's another one on the other side, isn't there? Always is. I am very sick of having my hand down the back of this engine now. Benny, can I get a early 80s synth pop remix of that? For anybody wondering what in God's name I'm talking about, I have a Discord. We talk all kinds of bollocks there, so if that sounds like it's up your street, link in the description. Sick of having my hand down the back of this engine now. I am very sick of having my hand down the back of this engine now. I am very sick of having my hand down the back of this engine now. I am very sick of having my hand down the back of this engine now. Look, boss, if you're loose enough to rotate, you're loose enough to slide off. Here's what I'm thinking is going on right now with me. I think that intake bolt situation has left me a skosh highly strung. And now I'm at a 9 constantly. That's why it's not taking very long at all for me to just whistle over the barrier into a 10. If this keeps going though, I'm going to show you guys what a 15 looks like. Right, 1 intake manifold. What's our gasket looking like? There's a load of oil in this intake stream, man. I know you expect a small amount, but things weren't happy here. One way or another, this car was going to be getting booked in for some work, put it that way. Righto. Hidey hi. We've got to at least try to use a socket on these, haven't we? We all know full and well what's going to happen, but let's at least try, then we can say we did. Okay. Not too loudly, Kyle. The others will hear you. Okay, that's properly rounded now. The problem we have is that the fasteners, they rust, which reduces their diameter. Do you know what's a double pisser about that on this occasion? You can't really hammer a socket on there. I don't want a war with this vehicle. I don't want a war with any vehicle, but particularly this one. We go way back. It's a shame when old friends argue. She did start it though, in fairness. With this sort of bollocks, there's still some hex left. I can see it. No impact. We want the twisting force from the ratchet to bite into the steel, and then we send it with the impact. The hex around these easy outs is possibly one of the most useful aspects of a tool design I've ever come across. There it goes. There it goes. Get this buddy in here now. Go on, send it, mate. You got this. Yeah, we got a stud that time. It's about an 8-pounder. Probably this year's crop. I don't know. We're fishing. I don't know. Do they have litters? What do fish have? Okay. Despite us being in May, the sky just went hailstones, hailstones. So apologies if there's a lot of background noise. Well, it's good news for you guys. The camera angle's going to change because Shirley needs to go up in the air for this bit. This new lift rocks, by the way, and I don't mean side to side. It is so good. Very pleased. Thank you again, Steve, for selling it to me so cheaply. FSH and everything. Serviced the entire time Steve owned it up until he sold it to me. Okay, this one ain't too bad. Ooh, massive then. Literally 1/8 of a turn at a time. Right, so the good news is, once this bastard manifold's out of the way, it is drop the V-belt, drop the cam belt, valve cover off, head off, and then blower out. And then while we're waiting for the blower, we should then be able to sort the head out. Now, I'm not saying there's definitely a problem with the head. I'm not saying we're going to open this and find smashed pistons. In fact, I'm hoping when we open this, it's like a ghost town in there, because every extra problem is an extra job, is an extra delay, is more money that the customer has to spend. And despite me running a business, I'm not very good at it, and I don't like it when my customers have to spend loads and loads of money, believe it or not. It leaves me feeling actually quite guilty. So I'm in this for the wrong reasons, as you can probably tell. Anyway, my business acumen aside, I would like there to be nothing. Or at least, oh, fixed, head back on. But we need to know this car gets driven at 10/10. And we just can't let it go down the road with a pat on the back and best wishes, not fully confident as to whether or not there's not chunks in the head. Okay, those two look awful, so I'm going to deal with them and come back. Okay, going mobile for a minute so you can hopefully see. Up yonder, I have wound a stainless nut onto what's left of the other nut. I have done it up insanely tight. I am going to try one time and one time only to undo this, and then I'm going to have to resort to trying to snap that off. I don't want to hear no talk about how easy that is to get to either. As you can see from the mark there and the mark there, everything fouls on this exhaust manifold. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. God damn, that better have worked like it worked on the other one. Come on. Please tell me that worked. It doesn't feel like it has. Okay. The ratchet is grinding against the exhaust, so I can't tell if that's worked, but if it has, I'll show you what I did, because it might save you guys a bit of aggro later. Oh no, I don't think it has worked. Bollocks! Okay, that was the logical conclusion, and I am actually 110% fine with that. It's broken off flush with the exhaust flange, which means the clamping force is gone. I'll take it. Couldn't care less, because we're changing all the studs anyway. Not bothered, just wanted the thing out of here. Right, now, let me get a bit of a camera type situation going on, because I don't know about you, but I'm hating filming under here. Oh man, that's the ticket right there. So, what happened? That's a very good question. The first thing I'm noticing is these studs were installed incorrectly. Somebody's obviously used a set of mole grips to really send them, which you just straight up don't need to do, and that's a good 40% of the problem. So thanks to whoever did that, appreciate it. Two very different outcomes here. What's the story? Everybody knows the trick where you wind another nut onto the exhaust stud. Thankfully there was enough thread left for us to be able to do that. But that's very little cop. The way that works is you wind two nuts onto the stud, or the threaded section if you want to remove a stud. You lock them together, and basically in the threads, what that does is binds everybody up like that. And essentially the two nuts become one bolt head then, and then you undo the one closest to the item you're clamping, not the one on the outside. So as the nut would then attempt to turn and back itself up the thread, it can't, because the other nut's holding it there, and they have no choice. The force goes where it can, and your stud comes undone. We can't do that with these, because these nuts just stripped. Bit of column A, bit of column B as to how that happened. Being honest with you, looking at this, I never would have gotten this one out anyway. We'd have looked at cutting that stud off, because the rust is just impregnated into the threads. Yes, ATF and acetone, yes. Induction heating, yes, so on and so forth, fine. Everybody's got a solution. People's opinions on getting rounded nuts and bolts off are much like arseholes. Everybody has one. I did what I could in the room I had with the tools to hand. I almost never have to do this sort of thing, despite working on classic cars. I pride myself on getting fasteners out. That's what the fireplace of bragging is about. Anyway, shut up. Let's start with column A. Now, the way that these Volkswagen exhaust nuts actually work is it's a nut, and then it's got like a tapered nose on it with a slit cut in it. And the idea is it's like an anti-rattle washer. As you tighten everything down, there's a degree of stretch there that basically binds things up to stop them from winding undone. And what my plan was to use that to my advantage. It worked on the one hand, it didn't work on the other. I put an M8 nut, round down the threads, and crushed it up as tight as I possibly could. And then I walked away. I let everything settle down. I came back about 10 minutes later, put a 13mm socket on there, and it went pop, because the spring action of that little taper on the original nut is binding up against the new nut that I've just forced on it. So everything is squashed together, and it physically can't slip on this occasion. On this occasion, that did not work. And you know me, I'll always tell you guys when something doesn't work. Every single thing that I say to you is most of the time. Okay? None of this is a surefire, absolutely going to be that way. I would hope that you've all tuned in to the Saturday Club video where I mentioned Mr. Coil, I'll be a coil. And he was invariably wrong. No one likes a gobshite, no one likes a know-it-all. Sometimes this works. On this occasion, it didn't. So, pick your poison at this rate. You can either try and burn it out, you could, good luck, down the back of the engine when there's oil all over the back of the block, and a nice greasy CV boot there, and a nice greasy steering UJ that goes up into the interior there, and a pair of fuel lines over here. Ditto with an angle grinder. I'm not playing that game. I may have been able to get an induction heater up there. I'll be the first person to tell you I haven't got one, because I don't need one. Almost never need to heat things up to that degree. And if I do, normally I find a way of removing the part from the car and I use my welder. I'll show you that one day. That's quite a fun trick to get in camper and, is it Beetles as well? Getting the ball joints out. We're off topic, sorry. We could have spent hours on end doing that. Part of me started thinking about cutting the exhaust manifold. That's how much this car's got into my head, because I'd never do something like that. Anyway, on this occasion, I chose, that's quite apt actually, I picked shit rather than bust. That would disappear halfway through a shoot, wouldn't it? I ran the nut back down because it slipped, you saw. I ran the nut back down, I got my big ratchet, snap. And why not? At this stage, we had nothing to lose. The reason we can't get the manifold off is the clamping force is holding the manifold to the face of it. The minute that stud snaps, all our clamping force is gone. That manifold's hanging off now. Finally, we're through it. We're through it. Nearly lost my shit for a while there. I've never known anything like it. I do these manifolds often. I did an intake manifold on a customer's car, to the best of my knowledge, hadn't been disturbed in about 25 years. I did it while he was sat at my desk, working from home. I did an intake manifold gasket for him. I do these manifolds a lot. I've never known anything like it. That was an absolute howler. The good news is, these are going on the fireplace for bragging. And we'll be back. Theoretically, right? Theoretically, the rest of this should go quite smoothly. Yeah, we're using impact drivers, for speeding things along, because this is just teardown at this point. I've run out of gloves. What else has happened? The GL is done and going home tomorrow. That's very nice. Wow, that's a crispy alternator wiring harness. Gently with that. I like that still. That absolute monster of a bolt holds that plastic cover on. Alright, I've popped that loose on purpose. Thought I'd do it while there was tension on it. Right, what we gotta do, this guy puts tension on the belt. It's an idler tensioner type beat. God, there's a lot of shit attached to this engine. Boom, 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 boom. Except not anymore. Right. Fine, I'm going to get a spanner or something. Can you bring the energy level up or just not bother filming? Pick one. And we should be able to rotate him, or not. What is happening? Oh, for God's sake. Why is this build such a bastard of a job? This is a standard engine from a standard car. You're a now get out of the way. Can't leave that in. Is that getting bigger or smaller? Pick one. How did I do a timing belt on this without losing my temper? Get off, get off, get off, get off, get off. There has not been a single part of this car that should have taken 2 seconds that ended up taking 14 minutes. I am fed up with it. Get off. Oh dear. Come on out. Pretty sure that can't be good. Pretty sure the bits of magnesium don't belong in the airbox. So he protect, he attack, but mostly he blow back. Apparently. Magnesium 1, magnesium 2, magnesium 3. Okay, any more? Right, well, you see what I'm driving at now. If it shot backwards, it could have shot forwards as well. He needs to come apart. Shot. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a nice sanity check, actually. That should pull off of there now. And of course it won't, because it's Shirley. And Shirley has decided, for some reason, that I am not her friend. Which is really annoying, because I try and stay super chill when I'm working on stuff. You've seen, when stuff goes catastrophically wrong, I tend to not freak out about it, and try not to anyway. This car has just been one of those ones where it's just been like a direct line to the bit of my brain where I go lizardy and get super pissed off. And it is a shame, because like I say, I've known this car for a good many, many years. One of the first Roccos that wasn't mine that I did anything on, I put the driver's seat in. We go back a long way, and for some reason we're going to end up falling out. It's just a real bummer. Mostly because it doesn't need to be. This is very procedural. Thank for that. Okie doke. Right, that's our belt off. Happy days. And that's been nut and bolted by the hillbilly that put it in. Excellent. Didn't feel like popping a captive on there or a... No? Fine. 27 washers that can fall down. I'm working messy right now, mostly because I just want to make progress. I am just about as done as a boy could be right now. Is it just those 2 mounting lugs? I flipping well hope so. These things, cool old tool time. We haven't done one of these in ages. Let's zero in. Right. These are basically like Stilsons, kind of like a pipe wrench. I don't know where I got them. Probably from a car boot sale. Footprint, made in England. Like I say, pretty sure I got them from a boot sale. Really good. They're like very quickly adjustable Stilsons. What I like to do, if I've got my socket like that, I know that's not going to be crazy tight. I don't want to be hunting around for a deep socket. And they've got the serrations on the edge. There you go. There you go. Ain't nobody calling the police over that one. Nice and straightforward. Yeah, they're a handy tool to just keep around in case you need to just grip something on the job you're working on. It's weird. Even though this is my first time talking about these in a video, these are never far away. They're kind of like that dude in Fallout 4 who you realise has been following you the entire time. Usually just around the time you realise that the storyline means that it's not worth playing. Fallout 3 is a superior game, don't at me. Now that I've started a massive row in the comments, Alternator should be coming out. Oh, wow. Give me the Alternator, please. Thank you. Hello. Can you tell from my tired eyes that it's been quite a day? Just a quickie. The disassembly side of things, this bit of the job was just such a boring pain in the ass. So, we're going to zip forward. I'll time-lapse in so you can see what went on as far as taking things apart and what have you. But there's some cool stuff coming up, taking the cylinder head off. At least I thought it was interesting anyway. It might be helpful to you if you're stuck in the boondocks without a tool, or in my case, have never needed an alternative socket to the one that you've got and the head's about to come out. Yeah, cool. Thanks for sticking with me. This video would have been 17 hours if I had kept all of that shit in. So, let's go. Chop, 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 chop. New song.
I never thought in 100 million years I would be in the upper echelons with the likes of somebody like David Lynch. But if I do say so myself, that was a fantastic music video. No, disrespectful, fair enough. We're going to drain the coolant neat and tidy like, aren't we? I've gone out of my way to get that drain pan exactly where it needs to be. You will behave. Please, please, please. Oh! A kindness. Never thought I'd see the day. She's being nice for once. Well, hopefully today is a more productive day then. Christ, that coolant cap's not been off for a while. Oof, there. Doesn't seem to actually be draining a busting lot of coolant out. You know what that means? The minute we take that coolant flange off, it's going to go everywhere. Great. Okay, so sit rep in case I decide not to use any of that. I am now at the stage where I am coming to the realisation that this engine was not put together particularly well by whoever put it together. Every single thing I have come across is either massively over tightened or rounded, both, or seized in. And I know how this car gets looked after. And coolant everywhere again. Something's going on with this engine, man. That ain't right. Plan for this video, we're going to get the head off, find out what damage there is. And then part 2, supercharger off, head back on, supercharger back on. Hopefully fun times had. For 2 reasons. This will be week number 3 that I have been wanting to get this video out and haven't been able to, for either computer reasons or car reasons. I have no intention of rushing or bodging anything. I would quite like to show you the video I've worked so hard at making. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the head off, we're going to inspect everything, then next time we'll whiz the charger off, we'll take the charger apart. We've got to, haven't we? Can you imagine the carnage that's going to be inside there? So we'll do that. I think it's okay for things to go tits up sometimes. Right? This whole shoot has been as much of a disaster as the job. What a way to come back, eh? Whoa! Get a load of the crystallised coolant. Okay. That cooling system is in horrible condition. Pop that oil feed off next. Watch that snap off in the head. Ouch! We'll go straight to the nut. Very nice. Just like that. Okay, that's the oil feed to the blower. And it has oil in it, which is a good sign. It looks like it was being lubricated. When it went pop, make sure you take that copper washer with you. The piece of resistance is going to be head bolts off and then find out what we're snagging on. Ah, right. So we got splinies, if memory serves. They should be M12 spline. Wowzer. So, valve cover gasket's stuck on. And by that I mean it's stuck on with silicone and the nuts have been done up so tight that it's actually deformed the little metal spacers and they've pinched to the studs. I don't see a problem with that if you don't. Reverse star pattern. These Volkswagen heads are not overly fussy, but procedure leads to confidence, I find. Do everything a certain, very neat way, where you know what you did and when, because you always do it like that. Saves you paranoia. I know what I'm trying to say, shut up. Yay! Now I know this socket isn't the sleekest thing in the world, but it's always what I've taken these heads off with. So it's for that injector cut out there, but that's in the same place as a K-Jet car. What? Option will be, I'm going to have to punch my bloody spline out of my socket and put a different, skinnier socket on there. So what I need to do now is very carefully press the spline out of that. I can hear
All the armchair mechanics out there. Why didn't you just miraculously have a socket that you've never ever needed? Well, funnily enough, I've never ever needed one. I don't phone my Snap-on guy and pay him £900 for tools that I'll never ever use. I use the tools I need. And I've never needed one of these sockets, so I'm gonna have to make one. Right, we get this guy squared up, give us the best fighting chance we can. The trouble we've got, okay, the shoulder of that is proud, which means it should hopefully be running through. Okie doke, ginger carefully. There we go. Alrighty. No harm, no foul. As you can see, all we've got there is a spline key with a hex drive on it. And the socket we were using over yonder was way too chunky for the gap. So hopefully this guy will fit down there and we can put something skinnier on here. We should be back in business. Alright, it's a 14mm. But here's what I'm farting to stink. If we can get that on the bolt itself. Can't see nothing in these safety squints. It should get on the end like that. And then hopefully, oh, okie doke, that's cool. Happy days. Lovely. And now, because these are just a reasonably stout interference fit, see how that's binding up there? We do it. Boom. Right back where we started. Where's my socket? Shirley, give it back. Oh, it's in my pocket. Apologies. Now we should be able to just whiz these out. They're all popped completely loose. 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The moment of truth. How bad is the damage? Hopefully not at all. I now declare this engine open. Okay, give me a minute. Heavy. Well, tickle me pink. With the due exception of an absolutely gopping ridge around the top of the bores, I think our customer has gotten away with it. Being honest, looking at the state of the coolant, this probably, yeah, we got a blocked coolant gallery there. Badly blocked. Not a terrible idea to have done this, being honest with you. Right, now, let's go and examine our head. Okay. I'm not seeing anything that's making me massively panic, but things are a bit grotty in here. I think we would probably be the wrong side of crazy to not send this over to Thatch, the old boy, and get him to check everything out. See if we want some valve guides in here and what have you and the such like, and generally just give this a really good clean. It's looking very sorry for itself. It's just age. I don't think I'm seeing any damage. That cylinder has had something going on. Potentially mixture related, don't know. But I think we must have been talking just the beginnings of debris in there. I think we got really, really lucky. So ends another day here at Skyrocket Automotive. So just to wrap up, I don't know how my customer got away with that. So let's do the maths on this right now. Give me a minute, I need a Coke. There was material at the throttle blades, behind the throttle blades, and stuck to the sides of the plenum that I could see. Only little bits, granted, but obviously superchargers don't just go bang, they progressively fail. Over a very short period of time, but they do. So you'll get fine particles before you get big ones, and they will find their way through the intercooler. How did that happen? The reaction time required to know something's wrong and snap your foot off the throttle as the supercharger goes bang, I think is probably 90% of why we haven't got bloody great scores. Now, I never expected there to be pound coin sized lumps of aluminium because it's got the intercooler to contend with, but there were particles. Do you know what I think it is? There's oil. There's oil all the way through the intake stream. And there's no fuel until the intake ports. No way. That's got to be it. That's got to be it. The oil caught the particles. A combination of reaction time and being lucky enough to actually have a film of oil all over everything. I think that's why. Give me a minute, just so you don't think I'm making this up. By the way, everything that we found now is what I was hoping for. Because now we can send the head off, we can put the engine back together and this thing can go, because it has been a disaster. But give me a minute. Yeah. Shiny bits of metal. I don't know if you can see that. That is from the intake port on the manifold. I can see it glittering up in there. I'm never going to be able to film it. I'm never going to be able to film that, annoyingly. I can see it just catching the light. And look how much oil there is in the intake. This is pre-injectors, so there's no fuel to wash it down with. Why don't I ever have that sort of luck? If that had happened to me, my gearbox would have failed. What can I say? It just goes to show that you can't always set your watch by predictions, right? We didn't know what we were going to find, but I bet you there were some people out there going, that engine's going to be knackered or there'll be nothing in there. There are bits of metal, and they made it as far as the intake ports. But to no avail as far as our cylinder bores. I don't know. The beginnings of bits. Supercharger starts to fail, makes a funny noise off the throttle, bang. Well, I thoroughly look forward to not getting any sleep tonight trying to work out how that happened and how we got away with it. So, bit of a shorter one today, being honest with you. Right now, there's going to be nothing to show you until we're waiting on the Supercharger to come back. We found a new Supercharger, it's up at Jabbersport being rebuilt and staged forward. And must say this charger has a Jabbersport sticker on it. They built this charger years ago. This is nothing to do with Jabbersport's work. They're great guys, they know what they're doing, they've been doing it for decades at this point. And they've actually since moved on to newer things on the more modern VW engines, but they know their way around a Supercharger is what I'm trying to tell you. This wasn't them, 100%, can guarantee it. I think this might have just been where the car sat around for a long time, maybe it was overdue a service, on a Supercharger service, something like that. We will never know because all this stuff happens so fast. We could potentially send it up to Jabbersport and they could find out, is it worth the cost of shipping? The ultimate point is the Supercharger exploded and we're fixing it. But I just had to say that. Please don't look at the Jabbersport sticker and think, that Jabbersport Supercharger blew up. It wasn't them, okay? It's just the G60 failure. This happens usually when they've been sitting around for a long time. So with that out of the way, we're going to be waiting on the cylinder head now. It needs to go away to Thatch and be thoroughly cleaned because I'm not free fitting it in that state. Gasket set's got to arrive. So let's do induction and cooling system side of things next time. That's my thinks. Plus, I'm dead keen to get this video out. I want to be back on the horse. I've been missing this. So anyway, that's all very self-indulgent from me. Sorry, not intentional. I do have stickers available. I'd be remiss if I didn't say it. They are still for sale and I'm paying for a Shopify account in the meantime. So if you want some stickers, go for it. There's new designs on the way and I'm in talks about hoodies, t-shirts and other such things. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Go and check out Discord, go and check out Patreon. And I will see you on the next video, which might be Pandora. Oh no. It might be Pandora. Thank you genuinely for watching. As always, I appreciate every single one of you that watches my shit little channel. And I'm going to go now. Have a good rest of your week. Oh no, Mercedes window regulator.